Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing more of the new Order in All Things event, which is an alternate game mode in which our starting deck gets sorted out with the highest provision cards at the top, giving us perfect consistency, which means today's deck is far more reliable. So let's go give it a look. So today we'll be playing a Monsters Carapace deck that is built entirely around Keltullis, which, well, is an amazingly powerful card, and in this event is substantially stronger because in Kelly decks in the past, the great thing was always Kelly. The bad thing was always everything other than Kelly. So, what do I mean by that? Kelly, when we play her in the melee row, if our opponent has more units than we do, Kelly will destroy our opponent's weakest card automatically at the end of our turn. So that means our entire deck is built around having as few units as possible so that we can trigger that effect every turn and destroy one of our opponent's cards every turn, functionally limiting the number of units that our opponent can have on the board. And what we then do is just boost up Kelly and whatever other few units we might have on the board. And so if we have 1 or 2 or 3 highly boosted cards versus our opponent's not very highly boosted cards, then we are going to win. So that is the name of the game. It is going to be turn 1, probably Cave Troll, melee row to help protect Kelly, and then after that, we might want to use a special card to boost up that Cave Troll, and we have basically a handful of those with things like Garrison, or things like Thunderbolt. You could even play this turn 1, and it's a way of giving yourself some boosts without having to commit any units at all on turn 1. Obviously, you're losing the 3-point deploy ability in that case, but in the grand scheme of things, you're probably still fine. So then, once your opponent has a few units on the board, then you break out Kelly in that melee row, hiding behind the Cave Troll, and then you don't play any more units for the rest of the round. You just play special cards the entire time, ideally boosting Kelly and boosting your Cave Troll, or in some cases you can damage some of your opponent's cards with things like Triangle Within Triangle. That is a great source of boost on Kelly, but if your opponent plays something that's really important to get rid of, then you could opt to do damage on that card instead. Similarly, you can lock one of your opponent's cards if they have something that is problematic. You don't really like destroying one of your opponent's cards because, of course, for the most part, you're relying on Kelly to do that for you. But, and then, besides that, that's the plan for all of round 1. If your opponent does happen to sneak in some additional cards, maybe they happen to play multiple units in one turn, and since Kelly can only destroy 1 card per turn, maybe you have a little bit of buffer. You can play 1 more unit and still have your opponent have more units than you, in which case you can sneak into Ciri dash in that melee row behind the Cave Troll, and he can draw another card. So then what we do is, that's our win condition, round 1, is basically get Kelly, get Cave Troll, boost those up like crazy, and we'll have 2 highly boosted cards, maybe 3 highly boosted cards if we do opt to play Ciri, and our opponent is going to be limited to that number of units as well, and it's going to be really hard for them to match our power with just a few units on the board. Then, in round 2/3, we use Witch's Sabbath, which will bring back Kelly and Cave Troll into our melee row, and our opponents will presumably have played more than just 2 units in the previous round, so they'll get back probably 3 cards, and that means that Kelly will immediately activate and destroy the lowest card that we summon to their side of the board, so no need to worry about us potentially having Kelly backfire in round 2, and not to mention, even if you do play Ciri dash, we can only bring back monsters units, so Ciri, since she's a neutral, will not get brought back with Witch's Sabbath, which means you're still only going to get 2 units onto the board, and so you are basically guaranteed to have Kelly trigger on your first turn in round 2 or 3 when you use Witch's Sabbath. And then outside of that, it is just a whole bunch of 4 provision cost special cards that are focused on boosting, or in some cases, boosting / damaging your opponent's cards, so that way, when you have Kelly and Cave Troll back on the board in round 2 or round 3, you have a very high probability of just getting the perfect set of cards to have a perfect Kelly match. Now, we do still, of course, need to have 13 units in our deck, and that is what, in the past, had made Kelly decks more vulnerable, is sometimes you're going to draw into your weak units. Now, we can bury those units in our deck, and since they're 4 provisions, it's very unlikely for us to draw into them. So, technically, they can provide some value if, for example, the Wild Hunt Hound ends up on the board, we will likely have dominance, so it can still be an engine for us. But ideally, if you see this get drawn into your hand in round 2 or round 3, just mulligan out of it, and you're trying to get a handful of only boosting / damaging special cards. It also means that if your opponent has mill, specifically if they try to use something like Vilgefortz on Cave Troll, then we have some high base power cards like Nekker Warrior, and like Kikimore Worker that are still decent cards that get put onto the board in that case. And similarly, if they play something like Tibor and force us to get another unit onto the board, then there's at least a chance that either it's a high base power card or a card that could provide some additional value to us in some other way. So that's really all there is to it. It's all built around Kelly and making sure that you have a bunch of special cards so that you can boost up Kelly as much as possible, and so your opponent can only play 2 or 3 units, and the chances that they can match Kelly are quite low. So let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here, and we'll go first. Alright, so if we're going first, then we could start with Cave Troll, but we'd like to, of course, make sure that as soon as we drop Kelly, we're going to destroy one of their cards, which means on our first turn, we'd kind of like to go unitless, especially against Nilfgaard, who likely has a bunch of control. So we can do that if we go first with Thunderbolt. We'll miss out on the 3-point deploy ability, but it's not a huge deal. So I'm thinking we go that route. And other than that, we're fine in terms of our starting hand here. So let's do this. And that way we're letting our opponent get more units on the board than we will have. And destroying Glynis would be great. So much so that it's tempting to play some things a little out of order here. We'd like to go Cave Troll and then Kelly after that. But, if we feel like we need to get rid of Glynis immediately, then obviously we have the damage to make that happen. We could lock her. I guess, and when she gets boosted, she's going to be out of removal range of Parasite. Would still lock her even after that, though, so I think we're still okay with this. So, keys can be made for using a leader ability charge here on the Cave Troll. I'm not going to, because I think Purification more than anything is the risk. Rune Mage, which they will probably look to go Nilfgaard and for one of the Purification Assimilate cards. Fortunately for us, they did not get it. Damage is, not great, but we'll live with it. So now if we are to play Kelly on this turn, we would destroy either the Rune Mage or the Crossbowman. Wouldn't know which one. It's a 50-50 chance. So, and that's what I was getting at, where it meant that Glynis was unlikely to ever be the victim of Kelly, unless we took her out before we started putting down Cave Troll. So we could still lock her, but I think we get Kelly down on this turn. And it gets rid of Rune Mage. So now that means, unless they have a counter here, which we'll see if they do. Okay. It comes down to them trying to... Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Them trying to get a better set of 2 units than we have. And so that's one of the benefits, is Cave Troll is 7 power and Kelly starts out at 9. So the problem with Glynis is that she, once she's on the board, is going to be capable of getting boosted a lot. So, especially now that she's hiding behind that Cave Troll, we can no longer lock her. She's going to be an issue. Kelly will remove Cohen. We could sneak Ciri Dash in here. It would mean, yeah, given how they played 2 units on that turn, I think we can, because they have 4 units, we have 3 still. So that means you're still getting destroyed here. If they can go unitless on this turn, it means Kelly won't destroy anything. Damien. Ah, man, that Cave Troll was such a good steal. Well, we can technically still triangle within a triangle to remove it. And then we could Dimeritium Shackles to get rid of Glynis. After that, we might need to go that route. I think we might need to. It's not going to be fast enough to stop Damien. It's Double Cross that they're about to get an extra round of? Yeah, and I don't think we want them to use triangle within a triangle anyway. So, making sure that we get rid of that now is probably a good idea. Let's see, with Rune Mage, they're going to have 5 choices. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand, but we're about to play one of them. So yeah, they're going to see everything here. So they would technically be able to use a double Parasite if they wanted to. So I think that means we should boost. Boost. And just in case, boost. So that if they do end up going with a Parasite here with leader ability, because they're about to do that, then they are not able to destroy Cave Troll. It is Parasite. So they're either boosting themselves, which arguably is not a terrible idea. They could do it again and hit Cave Troll for another 2. Which, I mean, if they have... Ooh, hold on. Depends where this random damage goes. It might be enough. Fortunately, it's not. Because they could have used their second double cross to have seen the Parasite once again. Now they've another defender over here. Okay. Yeah, this is not making life easy for us. Well, I mean, we can still get a bunch of value out of Garrison, and we will get one more card draw out of Ciri, unless she, goes down soon. Why don't we... Let's Sangreal here on Ciri. Protect her. Make sure that she lasts long enough to get that card draw. We destroy one of their cards with Kelly, because they had more units than we did. So we're still in the lead here. So normally that would mean they can't play any more units, otherwise Kelly will just destroy them, and so we have a big advantage. The problem is, because Glynis can still get boosted from triggering that Assimilate, even if they play a card that's going to get destroyed, that is tough for us. Okay, and they're trying to hit Cave Troll again here. Now Kelly's going to destroy Damien at the end of this turn, unless we hit somebody with Dimeritium Shackles to, like hit Redea with Dimeritium Shackles or Parasite just to make her lower, but that doesn't really benefit us all that much. So we should probably proceed to boost Cave Troll now. Get a little more out of removal range. I think we go Garrison. Yes, it's bigger, obviously, but this gives us flexibility because this can be either a boost or a damaging card. Here's going to be the card draw from Ciri. Ooh, okay, not a huge fan of the unit. That is very uncommon for us to get units, because we have almost entirely special cards, and they probably were waiting for us to get the card draw and assuming that we were going to draw to something big. But no, our deck is flooded with a whole bunch of low provision cost special cards for boosts. It is going to be another round of Parasite. They arguably should go boost. Yeah, I think that is the right move. Shoop, stay off. This is actually terrifying. If they go Hunter, they likely can destroy a random one of our units, which could be Kelly. Or they might be able to steal Kelly. They stole Cave Troll. Okay, I think we probably need to pass here. Kelly is vulnerable, technically speaking, but maybe if we pass now, when they're in the lead, we can still get by and leave Kelly unscathed, and, it is going to destroy one of their cards, yes, because they have several more cards than we do at this point, but okay. So, bullet dodged. Alright, and so we do draw into another unit here, but as I was saying, we technically would like to be mostly special cards here. That is, when we use Witch's Sabbath to get what will actually be only Kelly. Usually it'd be Kelly plus Cave Troll, but they obviously stole Cave Troll. And when we bring their stuff back out, it's going to be Redea, Cave Troll, and Cave Troll. Which is, not great. It's a lot of base power for them, but we will immediately destroy some cards with Kelly. So I think let's get rid of you. And what we'd love would be, since they've played one more card than us, we'd love for them to dry pass, because we have one really good win condition still with Witch's Sabbath, but that's really all we have here. Otherwise, we're relying on something like an Ice Troll, so yeah, they should lead us, and they probably know that. So they steal our leader ability, Carapace. We can still outpace them here with Ice Troll, so I suppose we'll use it. And what we'll do is, since this is the only unit we have in hand, unless we do opt for Witch's Sabbath, we should use a leader ability charge on it to protect it a little bit more. Does mean we won't be able to give it a shield with something like the Wyvern Scale Shield, but... Ooh. It's clever. Clever! Trying to bleed us a little bit with Ciri, so then if they lose this round, they get the card draw. The thing is that we can either destroy her with Parasite or lock her with Dimeritium Shackles. I think we go the lock. I imagine they might have Purification. If they do, then we'll destroy her with Parasite or with Hideous Feast. So, yeah, let's start with this. And tempo-wise, that what? Drops them down to 4. Yeah, we're still fine. Still fine tempo-wise. And we have fewer cards than they do. So, we'll get boosted. Okay, Imperial Practitioner. Not entirely sure what they're up to there, but we could destroy that with Parasite. Dimeritium Shackles is the most recent card to go into our graveyard, which, you know, is, well, they're about to use a Vilgefortz. They could technically swap Kelly with a card in their hand, and we don't want that. You know, they could technically still do that even if we destroy Imperial Practitioner here, but maybe this discourages them from playing any further in this round. Because we don't want them messing with Kelly. But I'm fearful that they are about to mess with Kelly. They have not yet messed with Kelly. Okay. So now they're just trying to out-tempo us, it seems. We do still have a couple of leader ability charges, so that's worth 3. We'd like to save one for round 3 when we do use Witch's Sabbath to get Kelly back. But Hideous Feast is 6. These are just 4. So really, Hideous Feast is our best tempo option. And that, what, gets us up to 14. I mean, technically, we don't actually care that much about card advantage or disadvantage, as long as we just get Kelly out, get her out safely. So, we could actually make a case for not leader ability charging here. I mean, we will, but you can make a case for just... Oh, actually, well, with the boost here... Oh, you can't lock, but you do reset, and that hurts a lot. That's not great, and that would have been a reason not to use Carapace, but... Is it even mathematically possible without Kelly? Or do we need to... Well, if we break out Kelly, then we're going to bring out their other cards, and we're not going to have time to remove all those. So this is what? 8 between these two cards, and 3 here. So that's 11, which is enough to tie them, and then we'll get a points every time at the end of our turn from Cave Trolls boost, or Ice Trolls boost. So it's not going to happen on this turn. I think we hope that this makes them think they can pass now. Yes. Then we can Scale Shield. Gets us up to 13. And then that means Carapace would be sufficient. If we don't use Carapace, we're tying on our next turn. Yes, we have to. Unfortunately. Alright, so it is all about the Witch's Sabbath in a short round 3 here. And if we're bringing out Kelly, we do not really want units. So let's get rid of the Noonwraith. Let's get rid of the Ice Troll. And still got another Noonwraith. Wow. We have a decent number of units still hanging out in the bottom of our deck here. But alas, we do need to go Witch's Sabbath immediately here to maximize the amount of time we have for Kelly. And at this point, we will actually get out both Kelly and the Ice Troll, because they are both monsters. We will not get Ciri out because she's a neutral. They, at this point, will get out Radea, who's an 8, Cave Trolls, that's still the case. I think that was the case before. Yeah, nothing has changed in that regard. So we do this. They definitely saw it coming. We wanted to save leader ability charge ideally so we could put the Veil on Kelly, because she might get locked here. If not, we can put Veil on her from Thaw. Artorias Vigo. We'll give them probably an extra unit. And us an extra unit. Okay. So that's not very threatening for them. So now we go Thaw on Kelly. And it's going to destroy you. Okay, another Duchess's Informant. Basically just continuing to sacrifice. It's going to be non-stop Cave Trolls, and you are getting boosted in the process. Every time that happens. So now it's 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh! Ooh. Well, I don't like that. It actually managed to get... Yeah, an even number of units. That's no good. Okay, well... in that case... And Swallow on Kelly or Ice Troll to protect that. Kelly's obviously more important, but at 13, you should be out of... technically... Triangle within a triangle could still kill her. So I guess we do this. Okay, Experimental Remedy will be nothing. Because we have already gotten out all of our units from our graveyard. Or all of our bronze units, at least. And so now it is Noonwraith, which actually means we are going to destroy one of our own cards here. It's going to be one of these Duchess's Informants. But does still put us ahead. And they still cannot play... Oh, we will not see our next turn. So, and Treason was the reason why I was thinking of, well, maybe not boosting up the card next to Kelly. We hold on by 1 point. Alright, so going up against Skellige here. And they'll go first. Alright, so we're drawn into all of our best cards here, and no need to change anything, so we're all set. And the fact that they're using Cursed Scroll suggests that they are deliberately mulliganing out one of their better cards with the intention of getting it later with Cursed Scroll, so that's a little devious. Gonna have to be mindful of that. Olgierd. Can't damage him. They can't boost him either, though, which, you know, he's probably gonna be hard to get rid of with Kelly, but we'll see. There's the Cursed Scroll. That's weird. They're doing it so soon. Why not just keep the card in hand in that case? Yeah, so I don't know what to make of that. But we would probably still like to go Cave Troll first. Technically speaking, their leader ability ignores armor, which means they could destroy him immediately if they would like to. Unless we go with a leader ability charge, in which case he's up to 10 power. Then he is going to at least live with 1 power and 4 armor. I think we'll go that route. Heatwave is unfortunate, of course, because that means not only is Cave Troll gone for this round, but it means we won't get him back with Witch's Sabbath in the future either. So that does stink a bit. We don't want to use Kelly yet, because then we're both on 1 unit, and Kelly's not going to do anything, at least not on this turn. So let's, in that case, go Thunderbolt here, because this is a way of keeping us unitless for the time being. We miss out on the 3-point boost on deploy. That's not a huge deal. We'll still get 3 points worth of boost on our next turn when we hopefully will play Kelly. Okay, so that Warcrier is going to be Kelly's first victim. So now we play her, and we can boost her. So now she's out of leader ability range, and we may want to Carapace as well, just so she doesn't get locked or anything like that. Because with no defender, she is much more vulnerable now. Well, guess what? You had more base power than Kelly did. So, except Kelly's going to destroy herself unless we play Ciri Dash here. It looked like a misplay, but it was actually a Galaxy Brain play. It destroyed their card, but they almost forced us into destroying our own Kelly, but not so fast. We will sacrifice Ciri instead. Technically, we could lock Kelly if we have... Well, no, Kelly has Veils. We can't lock Kelly. I was going to say, almost forcing us to lock our own unit. Instead, we'll destroy our own unit. Well. Fine. Be that way. Alright, in that case, I mean, we can still Witch's Sabbath to get Kelly, and only Kelly, back. But we would rather save that. So we'll pass here, and that is 1 win condition, yes, but we need to find a way to scrounge out some other win condition from somewhere. And that means that having at least 1 other unit is probably pretty important. Now, would we prefer for it to be the Wild Hunt Hound? Probably not, but given how most of our deck is dedicated to flooding ourselves with special cards to boost up Kelly and Cave Troll, I think we probably can't afford to take the risk of swapping you out unless we happen to get something else with that. Well, it's another Wild Hunt Hound. And now it's nice. Okay, well. They absolutely bailed us out there, because otherwise we were in some serious trouble. I mean, at this point, we can play... So, technically speaking, Witch's Sabbath will get these 3 out. It will not get Ciri out. 'Cause for us, it only gets monsters units. So we'll get Kelly. We can play 1 unit. I was tempted to play 2 because I was going to say that would mean that we can get rid of some of our units that we otherwise wouldn't want to have, but we don't want to do that because we want to have fewer cards than our opponent when we use Witch's Sabbath, because that means that we will immediately trigger Kelly. Alright, so now we get rid of units, and actually I deliberately had played the Wild Hunt Hound, assuming we were going to get dominance when we brought Kelly back, but with that Olgierd, that's actually not going to be the case. And we aren't going to be able to well, if we Dimeritium Shackles, I think he gets locked and then damaged, so we can actually still knock him down to 7, at which point we would have dominance, so that works. Let's get rid of our other units here, if we can. There's something to be said for keeping you, but yeah, let's stick with this instead. So now it is basically Witch's Sabbath, which we can do turn 1, and we'll get 3 units out for them, and only 2 units out for us, which means Kelly will destroy one of their cards immediately. And no risk of, accidentally burning ourselves with Kelly or anything like that. So we do this, it'll destroy Cleaver. We should put the Veil on Kelly just to protect her a little bit further. And, and with that, yes, now we definitely have dominance, so no worries with a high base power Olgierd. Okay, Stunning Blow, I assume... Oh, I thought they were going to go for Kelly. Actually, getting rid of one of our cards... Oh, well, now I see. I mean, they can deal a good chunk of damage to her, but of course... The rest of our deck is designed to boost up Kelly. So we will now proceed to boost Kelly and destroy the Warcrier on this turn. So let's go, Garrison. We'll keep Triangle within a Triangle because this is actually a source of damage, our potential source of damage. So we'd like to keep some of that flexibility, I think. So let's go this route. Kelly's no longer damaged. She should be out of removal range. They have 1 more Leader Ability Charge. Gets you down to 13 for Kelly, but... Not sure what you're trying to go for here. The Corsair is not really going to work. Not only is that not going to kill her, she also has Veil, so you can't give her the infusion. You are going to lose the Corsair at the end of this turn, so no need to focus on damaging that. We can just continue to boost Kelly instead, and let's, again, focus on the boosts that cannot potentially double as damage. Things like, Triangle within a Triangle and Parasite give us a little more flexibility, which we might want to keep. They should have done that immediately. Not sure why they didn't move Kelly before, but yeah, she is row locked to the melee row, so now she can no longer destroy their units, which means we are probably toast, but can't say that definitively. We can, of course, still boost ourselves. I mean, they're likely to be able to outscore us here, but let's see. If we were to... Damage doesn't really work unless we lock Olgierd first, so we're probably still just boosting ourselves. Don't have any reason to want to get rid of you with Hideous... Can't do enough damage with Hideous Feast, no need to lock you either. So let's just do this. So yeah, my guess is they'll probably be able to beat us here now. Still can't use the Corsair, though. I mean, yes, it's going to get a little bit of damage from the Cataclysm initially, but that is all. The shield doesn't work because we have Veil. In case you're wondering why I'm not doing that here, but... I mean, we can destroy you if we really want to, but it's not a big deal. Probably we aren't going to get locked because we have Veil, so I guess we'll just use Mahakam Ale. A Stunning Blow is... decent damage, but we are still keeping pace here, and so I think at this point, yeah, we're looking at, so we'll just go for the pure boost, trying to save our damage and lock and control options just in case there is something that we need to deal with. So Drift's right to get what? Another Corsair? Okay, I mean, it's not exactly all that inspiring of a play, but suppose we'll go Hideous Feast, because this is probably not enough to destroy any important cards anyway, so we'll just get rid of you and boost Kelly, and we still have strong control options here if necessary. Okay, Dandelion. Now, in theory, all their best cards were in their starting hand, right? So anything they draw into is going to be lower provision and not as good. But, okay, that Melusine Cultist does have some long-term value. They should have played that in the range row, technically. Then they could have put rain here and boosted some of their cards in the process. Suppose this is the best option we've seen for Dimeritium Shackles. Yeah, it has 1 armor, so it's not going to be full damage, but it shuts down that order ability, which was potentially worth at least some damage for them. Herald. For self-damage. Could destroy him with Parasite. It's a little bit overkill damage, but allow them to get +1. They lose 1 point on their side. They do 2 points of damage, though, so it's a net 1 point play. So you're functionally a 7. So I guess that does mean Parasite is actually most valuable on you. Okay. Well, you're damaging 1 unit. So now we save Triangle within a Triangle, which is just going to be our huge point slam on Kelly specifically. And it's going to come down to what is their finisher. Obviously, a Morkvarg Heart of Terror would be pretty devastating. That would be their best play, I think, or any Geralt, really. But Living Armor is not enough, so we will hold on with the win, even though Kelly got moved to the range row. Alright, so going up against Syndicate here. And they'll go first. And we have all of our best cards in our starting hand, so no need to change anything here. It is all set and ready to go. Okay, Tax Collector. Give the boost to him. So, obviously, Kelly will destroy the smallest unit, so it's going to be harder to get rid of this Tax Collector now. Could, and probably should, Cave Troll first. Before we get Kelly down. Obviously, turn 1 when they have 1 unit, it's not going to make any difference. Okay, Kurtz. Purify, I imagine. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, so the Cave Troll is no longer a defender, which does kind of stink. But, no, so we don't really want to use Kelly yet, because, again, they have 2 units, we'd have 2 units, so Kelly doesn't do anything on this turn. So what we could do instead is maybe lock this Tax Collector to shut down the coin generation, if that was a big concern, or we could hit it with something like Parasite, so that when we do play Kelly on our next turn, at that point, it might be the lowest unit, so it does get destroyed by Kelly. Or we just go Thunderbolt or other sources of boost on Cave Troll. Yeah. I think we shut down the coin generation. There's always a chance they might have had another more useful engine that we could have locked instead, but, you know, we'll use the damage to try to get rid of one of those in that case. Or Kelly. Saul is going to be hard to shut down unless we destroy him. And I actually hate him against Kelly because he can score a whole bunch of points without them even needing to play anything, which is exactly what we don't want. We want them to be forced into playing units. And the units that they have on the board, we want to not have any long-term value. He has long-term value, so we should Parasite him. Okay, Caleb, yeah, I got the sense when we saw the Kurt here that they were going to have some bounty. Yes, they use him for purification on this case, but seemed more likely than not that that's actually what they were going for. So, I mean, obviously we could have put a Carapace on, but didn't feel necessary after we lost the defender status. So, at this point, if we were to Kelly, we'd get rid of Caleb, which is a good card of theirs, so I think we would like to do that. They might have Graydon, which would immediately destroy Kelly, or rather, immediately destroy Cave Troll. Let's put the status on Kelly so Kelly doesn't get bountied or locked or something like that. And there is Graydon, as expected. Yeah, it's a pretty huge boost for him. So on this turn, we will destroy one of their 6s with Kelly. And, I mean, technically it is safe to play Ciri right now. I mean, we'd like to have a defender to protect her, yes, but she's not... or, well, they have more units than us, so it is safe to play one more on our side, if we would like to. We could alternative... Yeah. Yeah. It's an option. It's an option. Otherwise, we're looking at boosts or damage on Graydon would drop you down to 1, then you would be the one that gets destroyed, but, you know, we're destroying a 1 power unit versus a 6 power unit, that's just not as good. Let's go Ciri, and we'll put her in the range row in case they're thinking about using a brawl. Don't want to have our big units next to each other. Would probably like to boost up Ciri in some way, shape, or form so that she's not as vulnerable, because she is definitely still vulnerable here. Yeah, Freak Show is probably going to be to get rid of Ciri, and it makes sense. We did kind of invite that. This is going to get destroyed at the end of their turn. That's a smart use of coins, though. Hit Kelly while you can, and obviously we can still boost Kelly much more. Can't give Kelly the shield because she has Veil. Would have liked to have had the chance to put this on Ciri on her next turn, but obviously she's gone now. So, Kelly will destroy you. We should probably triangle within a triangle on Kelly. I mean, this is our only remaining source of damage, so maybe we opt for Garrison for the time being. Just in case we really want to use this in the future. They'll pass, and that means we can pass here and destroy Kurt and win this round. And now going into round 2 and round 3, we have a whole bunch of just boosting cards or boost and damage cards, which can help us set up destroying a specific unit with Kelly if we'd like. And the big thing is Witch's Sabbath, which we can use to get back Kelly and Cave Troll, as long as they haven't been Heat Wave, but they've not. So we will not get Ciri back because she's not a monsters card, which means we get 2 units out. They'll get 3 units out. Their highest units will be 1, then Caleb, and maybe Saul, but I think they know that they're about to get Witch's Sabbath. And so, they rage quit. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here. And they'll go first. Okay, so obviously we're starting out with all of our best cards here, so no real need to mulligan in this case. But the fact that they have Cursed Scroll is interesting. Means they're up to some funny business here. Why do they need to... They put one of their higher provision cost cards back in their deck and are planning to get it out on a future occasion with Cursed Scroll, which is unusual. The range row Theon means not Kahir. What would they be trying to hide back here? Scenario? Possibly? I mean, they already have 2 units on the board, which means let's go straight into Cave Troll here. And given how they are imprisonments and they have a lot of control, let's put the Veil on just to be safe here. So this could get answered with something like Genvo or Heatwave even. You know, Nero into potentially what they put back in... Okay, well, Purification is also unfortunate on a defender. Okay, well, I think we are still looking at Kelly here. We are definitely going to need to put the leader building on Kelly for the Veil, otherwise that is going to immediately get locked. So this is no longer a defender, so they can get to Kelly if they would like to, but do they have a way to shut Kelly down is the question. Operator will spawn units on both sides. We don't particularly like it. Oh. Well, they're up to something. We could get a Dandelion if we were to use him now, which is not a terrible thing. So, they just trying to set up a bazillion practitioners? I guess so. With that defender, we can't really stop them. Not at the moment. Not unless we... But you're functionally 11 right now. Triangle within a triangle drops you down to 2, means Kelly would destroy you. Then we can hit Practitioner, but at that point it's probably too little too late. So, could go for it and then see if we can Parasite you or something like that. Yeah, let's just... keep it simple here. We'll get a Dandelion. I mean, it is a unit, which we generally don't like, but it's a pretty good unit, so we'll take it. Okay, and there's Vilgefortz. Okay, really? They're gonna... Ah! Okay. Yennefer Illusionist is the card they're trying to create a bunch of copies, or at least one copy of. Surprised they didn't wait until they had more Practitioners to do that, but... Okay. And now, I mean, we are going to destroy either Practitioner or Operator on this turn. And in that case, normally we'd like to get Ciri dash out here if we had a defender that was still a defender, but that is no longer the case. So why don't we instead just load up on additional boosts here of some variety. Can't put the shield on Kelly because she has Veil. There goes the Practitioner, and that's maybe why they rushed that a bit. Okay, Brothans will likely put another card on our side of the board. And yeah, this is where they're creating a bunch of Practitioners. Except that Practitioner may get destroyed on their next turn. It may not. 50-50 chance. Is it going to be you or is it going to be you? We'd obviously like for it to be the Practitioner. And at this point, it would be Sangreal. Yeah, they are probably not pleased that we are spamming special cards right now, because that is what is going to go into their deck. Or, yeah, go into their deck with the Practitioner. So, we could give them... We just said no. No, don't do that. But, we could just stop playing here, in fact. And continue to, yes, destroy their cards with Kelly. And if they want to keep on playing, it's going to be hard to make that happen. And yes, that's more units for them. And once again, though, we get rid of the Practitioner. Pacing-wise, they need to catch us on this turn, and they cannot with Kelly, because they're going to keep on losing cards. So yeah, sure, they'll set things up with the Practitioner, but, I mean, what are they even getting? Can we still see? It's Sangreal. I mean, so they are, in some ways, they're creating cards that are going to be good against Kelly, but they can't catch us. Unless they use... Okay, Garrison. Garrison can. Make it close, at least. They'll get some damage with their leader ability, and so now they are 5 cards down, and that is the glory of Kelly, is doesn't matter how many cards they throw at us, if they just have units, that is not enough to catch us, and they realize it, so they'll forfeit. So there's a look at a Monsters Kelly deck for the new Order in All Things seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Though I will be out of town for the rest of this week, so I probably won't be able to respond for a little bit. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.